Well, it's finally here. Yay! Been so looking forward to this weekend. It's the late May bank holiday. It's possibly not the best time to go off on the road to the East Coast, but beggars can't be choosers. The plan was to go to Angleton, and then the bank holiday weather kicked in and it's really not looking the best there. So, 4 of us heading off to Flamborough or possibly Sandsend. We're going to have a scout around beforehand and see which we think is best. Probably more about the camping this weekend, I think, than anything else. Got my rucksack all packed up. New tent to try out, the Van Gogh Banshee, I think it is, 200. Gives me a little bit more room than the Fox OEX one that I've got. I needed a bit more headroom. I like to be able to sit up in a tent and move around a bit, get my bag inside as well at night. So we've got a couple of locations in mind. So I'm just trying to get out of the house, go pick Andy up, and then we're on our way. So the sun is shining, it's gloriously warm already. Got the camera gear, obviously. We will be doing some photography, but it is more about the camping this weekend. Catch you later. Well, we've arrived at Flamborough. We're down at South Landing. It's about 18 degrees. There's a lovely cooling breeze, hence the fleecy top. And it's quiet. I sincerely expected to arrive and not be able to find a parking spot for miles. The car park's 3/4 empty, which is a bit bizarre. So we're just having a quick scout round. We've heard of a place where it's possible that we might be able to camp tonight, so we're going to have a check round. We're going to head off over to Thorncliffe Bay and meet up with some friends. But the scenery is lovely. And to be able to wake up and look out onto this on a morning for sunrise would be just perfect. And the weather forecast is kind of looking less than favourable. It's supposed to be raining here now, apparently, according to the weather sites. We're hoping it's going to skirt round us. Don't mind a little bit of rain. The tent that I've got pitches with the inner attached already, so there's no issues with getting a wet tent. But it's just so much nicer if it's still sunshine and blue skies. But the rain should clear by about 11. Hopefully there's going to be a gap long enough to get a decent sunset. And sunrise is looking fairly good at the moment. Light clouds, sunshine, not too much wind. You expect it to be a bit breezier at the coast. So we're going to carry on. We're going for a walk down towards the lighthouse, which I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this. It's kind of somewhere over here. That's kind of the place we're heading in, looking for a place to pop our tents tonight. We've got to find this place big enough for 4 tents. Found a couple of possibilities, but not really big enough for more than 2 tents. Well, it's been quite a good day so far. We've had a bit of a wander along Flamborough Head. We scouted out the place that we'd been told about for a wild camp, but in terms of photography there really wasn't a lot there, so we decided to give that one a miss. We met up with some friends, had a good gossip for a few hours, and then we've come down to Sandsend, which is where we are now, on the beach. In the far distance, you might be able to make it out, is Whitby Piers. And we've found a proper spot for a wild camp, which is on the hills above Sandsend, kind of just over there. There's just enough room to get 4 tents on, and right on the edge of the cliffs, so the view in the morning should be stunning. As I say, this is more about wild camping than photography, but we are probably going to get up tomorrow morning and whiz down to Whitby to try and get sunrise there, because it's looking really good. And this evening we're hoping for a sunset, although the clouds are looking very dodgy. Just over there are a series of groins which are coming into view now the tide is going out, and we're going to do a little bit of photography down there. But for now I've done the most important thing, which is have some food, nothing special, just a pot noodle and a cup of tea. So I was beginning to feel in need of a brew, and it's just so beautifully peaceful considering it's a bank holiday weekend. It's very, very quiet down here, which I find quite surprising. No problems parking, excuse the hut in the background. We decided that with I don't know if you can see, the clouds are looking a bit ominous. You can probably sneak under there to shelter if it did decide to rain. No traffic jams, no problems parking. It's been absolutely awesome. And tomorrow morning we shall wake up and be able to open the tent doors and look out over the ocean, which will be blooming marvellous. Being by the seaside is so relaxing, just listening to the waves crashing in. So on that note, I'm going to finish my brew and set about doing a bit of long exposure photography. So for a little bit of photography now. The sky is absolutely awesome. Some beautiful clouds. The light is getting better. We've been watching the weather forecast and it's promising to not rain again and to hopefully give us a nice sunset. If these clouds light up, it'll be absolutely awesome. But you can see the cloud formations. So we have some groins. Now I came on a training course a few years back and have unfinished business with these groins. We've got some beautiful detail in them. The green moss, which I'm hoping to be able to pick out doing a long exposure. So I have the camera set up on the tripod. I'm not using the 10 stop today. Oh, and I have, as always, the snowshoes on, just to give the tripod a little bit more stability. I'm not sure if you can see that particularly well. That's the composition that I'm going for. It's a little bit dark. I'm using a 0.6 neutral density filter, and I have a 0.6 ND grad on top, but I'm not using the graduated part of it. I've actually put it on, I don't know if you can see, I'm covering the whole of the shot because I want to slow the water down, but I don't want it milky. I'm using my remote trigger, and we have, just see, F18, which I'm actually going to move down a little bit, or move up a little bit, sorry. Just going to drop that down to F14, which is giving me, I'm on 5 seconds on manual exposure, ISO 100. I want to slow the water down slightly, but not huge amounts. So we'll trigger that and see what we come up with. It's getting really dark, so I'm not convinced. 5 seconds is not bad. It's giving me that. So I've retained a little bit of detail in the water, which is the aim of the shot. So Just going to play around here. There's some more groins that you can just see further down here. We're waiting for the tide to go out a little bit further. But there's plenty to keep us occupied until sunset, which is around about, it's about 2.5 hours. Yeah, it's got to be about 6:30, 7 o'clock now. So we shall see what we can get. Well, we had a cracking night's sleep up on the top. We woke to see the beginnings of a really, really beautiful sunrise. So we grabbed everything, packed everything away, and we've headed down to the piers at Whitby, as you can see. And behind me, the colour is starting to fade a little bit now, but there's still some beautiful detail. Lovely bunch of clouds up here. So I've grabbed a couple of shots. Use the Lee 10-stop filter just to smooth the water out, because I do like silky water. And I don't know if I'll be able to show you these. I don't know if you can just see that on there. That was shooting at f11, 179 seconds using the 10-stop plus a graduated filter, just to even the exposure out a little bit, using this pier here as the interest. I'm not going to say lead-in line because it really isn't a lead-in line, and I'm going to cut this short because just over there, somewhere, just over there, the sun is just beginning to break, so I'll be back in a bit. Sunrise didn't disappoint this morning. I've been after a really good shot of the Whitby piers at sunrise since I came up here a few years back for a photography course, and it didn't let me down this morning. So it was the usual 10-stop filter, ISO 100. I was shooting, I think it was f13, because I wanted to smooth the water out. I really struggle with non-smoothed water, so the 10-stop comes into play. The colour is still hanging around. You can just see, oh, you can't, it's just getting a little bit blown out, but there's a beautiful sort of hue all over the sky, particularly over on that side. And quite surprisingly, not another single photographer around, which I find a little bit odd. But it's been a good morning, good wild camp, no disturbances. Woke up to the sound of the sea crashing below us and the seagulls flying overhead. Packed up in about 10 minutes. Yeah, been a really good weekend. So we're not going to hang around too long. I think we're going to head off, find some other places. Yeah, good weekend. Thanks for watching.